Hello, hello. Yeah, welcome. Uh, yeah, feel free to just check out what I'm working on. And feel free to work on your own artwork on the side. Yeah, hopefully um, this setup works really well. You guys can hear my voice really well. I have a new microphone set up here on my iPhone. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me well. But yeah, I want to see if I can, use the YouTube platform to live stream. I was thinking about doing it on Instagram, but I think it's probably better to do it on YouTube. YouTube is probably better, probably one of the best, maybe the best platform to share. Oh, is there static? Oh man. Let me see. Let me unplug and plug back in. Let me know if it's better. Let me know if you can hear better now. All right, how's the sound now? Is it better? Still staticky? No static? Nice. All right, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I just got this new microphone that's attached to my iPhone, and hopefully it sounds really good. And the default microphone that comes with the iPhone. Yeah, I don't expect there to be a lot of audience because it's kind of unannounced. I didn't make any announcements. This is more of a test. So yeah, I did this setup. Having a secondary screen up there that's projected, mirrored. Yeah, it's going to show like the overall progress of the artwork. So feel free to let me know if that's helpful. Because I zoom in and out a lot. That's why I wanted to provide that. How do I pretend to stream more from now on? Oh, What do you mean pretend? Like how am I going to just, announce that I'm gonna start streaming? Yeah, I haven't done a lot of streaming, so yeah, it's not the most fancy, uh, art stream that you've seen. This is more for you guys to have chance to spectate what I'm doing, like day to day, like day in life of sort of, what I'm working on at the time of the live stream. And you guys can do your own thing on the side as well and just take a glimpse of what I'm doing. Yeah, I wish I had like a music playing, but I don't have that prepared. I was going to go live stream on the Instagram, and on Instagram it's very ambiguous about how I can share have background music playing. Usually don't have any background music playing, but on YouTube I think you can. I just haven't found the I don't have it prepared for this, but yeah, I'll try to find the right one for the next live stream that I do. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions. I'll try my best to answer them. I'm still gonna be focusing on the art, so might take. I mean, that's part of my way for me to practice multitasking. But yeah, feel free to ask any questions. I may be a little bit slow, or I might stop what I'm doing when I'm answering. So if you don't mind that. Yeah, this setup seems pretty comfortable. Yeah, I'm using my iPhone to, live stream this. And originally I had the iPhone right in front of me to get a good angle of what I'm doing, but I realized that just wouldn't work. So it's slightly off to the side, which is good enough. And the microphone is close to my face. So, hopefully you guys can hear me well. Yeah, drawing a bunch of these bow ribbons. So, all right, there's a question. Sorry, let me see. Okay, how do you approach highlights in your work? Oh my god, the chat keeps disappearing. I understand how you do shadows, but not the highlight. Thank you. For the highlights, well, after I do all that, hopefully I can, share that stage. Maybe, probably not today because I have to get to the masking and colors and doing all the shading and all that. But maybe towards the end of the week or middle of the week, I can show you. But, verbally I can tell you. For the highlights, I just, establish generic lighting scenario. I mean, for most of my artwork. And that's where I know I can, have the sense of direction for where the light is coming from. So, depending on that, once you have that in mind, you can just You know, I just like to add some like bright, you know, side lights, stage light or kicker light. They're all the same, but usually, you know, bright color. I usually use like whitish color, not pure white, but close to that level of brightness. Yeah, so if I were to just do highlights here, I'll just, you know, use this brush pen with the tapering quality, tapering shapes. And with the opacity slightly to the middle, and then let's build it up. I make sure it's, you know, it's got the tapering shape and also has like some graphical shape, like geometric shape. And I can, you know, you can bump up the the opacity, and just start to build that up. Yeah, usually towards the end, that's what I do after I do like, you know, shading and all that. And a common mistake is like, you know, even thickness throughout everything. Usually it dissipates, like it's stronger towards the light source, wherever you want it to come from. You know, I mean, for this scenario, it's coming from the side. And if you want like maybe a secondary light source to add some highlight, I just turn the opacity down and just, you know, just gradually build it up. Yeah, there are many ways to do it. And for the eyes, you know, I have it like a glint here close to the pupil, like that. You know, even on the lips. But anyways, I'll probably start doing that, yeah, towards the end, once everything is set in stone. Yeah, right now I'm working on, this, you know, design details that I added. As you can see in the pink sketch here, sketch lines. This is me kind of like brainstorming on top, drawing over, and just, you know, enhancing the, you know, interesting details, adding details. Okay, so you've been trying to go for the style like this, mixing Hideo Minaba. Is that Grand Blue artist? Hatching style and realistic rendering vibe, no success. I mean, the short answer is just, you know, it's mileage. I mean, yeah, it's not the most helpful answer, I would say, but, you know, you gotta observe. I mean, it's really difficult. It's, even if I try to do it, I have to let go of the urge for me to default to my my comfort, you know, techniques. But yeah, it has to do with like observing and analyzing. But yeah, I think that's the Grand Blue artist, right? Yeah. Yeah, I only know a few artists' name. Like I'm really bad with names, especially Japanese artists. I only know a few that yeah, I only know just a few. But I do like a lot of the artists' work. I just don't know their names. Maybe I'll put a hairpin here. A little, yeah, it's like a kind of a sloppy job. Yeah, don't make it sloppy. Make it clear. But yeah, let me know if the sound quality is good, because I spent quite a bit on this microphone here. Hopefully it sounds good. I mean, I tested it myself, just recording the video, but I don't know, you know, live stream is totally different. All right, let me check. Yeah, I know Akihito Yoshida for sure. Yeah, I love their work. Like, yeah, the hatching style, it's like, you know, this kind of stuff, right? Yeah, I used to do that too. I don't know why I stopped. Because I think I like to take the concept art to like final render. So, you know, I ended up like painting over them anyways. But, you know, I should study their work again, study their style, because I really like their style. Yeah, it's good to study that, you know, various styles, especially, you know, artists that you admire. And that's how you come up with your own style based on your preference. So, but yeah, let me know if you guys find the top screen, top display helpful. I wish it was a little bit bigger. Maybe, yeah, I'll find a way to make that like closer to the camera next time. What is my inspiration for Death Verse? There's a lot of inspiration, mainly, I would say, I mean, you know, Berserk. I think that's the main inspiration, and like Dark Souls, Kingdom Death, and Warhammer. But also aesthetically, like I think Fire Emblem is a big inspiration. Final Fantasy also. But in terms of tone, you know, tone of the theme, yeah, Dark Souls and like Warhammer. Yeah, it's a dark fantasy. I mean, I've been playing around with it for a couple, I don't know how long, more than 5 years. I gotta do something with that for sure. I just, yeah, I've probably been lazy. But yeah, I really need to do some kind of, maybe an art book, at least. How big is my canvas? It's 4288 pixel by 7200 pixel. The DPI should be 300. I'm gonna make her shoulder a little bit more prominent. All right. All right, thank you so much. Nice. Yeah. Gonna revisit Selena and actually do like a full body of her. Yeah, again, I don't have any like background music, so feel free to play your own music or listen to podcasts or watch Netflix in the background. But yeah, feel free to do your own like artwork while I'm doing this. Yeah, I want this to be more like a hangout. See if it's, hopefully you guys find this useful and find this fun. But yeah, I'll try to do this more often. I just have to test out this setup right here. And, most importantly, make sure, you guys can see it well and hear me well. And the connection is consistent. Have I been doing any projects besides Patreon? I mean, I'm working full time right now for a company. I haven't really announced it yet, but Patreon is just pretty much all my personal work for me to earn some extra income while working on my own project, personal project. But other than that, I haven't been doing any other big project like side projects. I mean, hopefully this me streaming on YouTube platform consistently over time, over a long period of time, hopefully that turns into something for me to share more easily for free. Yeah, I'll be announcing that hopefully soon. They want to be very careful about the announcement. But yeah, I'm really excited. It's been really fun. It's been really great working with them, working completely remotely. Yeah, that'll be nice. I mean, I only have like 6,000 subscribers right now. I haven't really been like promoting my YouTube channel, so um, you know, hopefully it'll grow. But that's why I'm gonna try to keep this like a very casual like live stream, like more like a hangout live stream. I'm not gonna be super energetic. I'll try to work on that, but that's just my default personality. I'm, more of an introvert and pretty, mellow. Um, but I want this to be like a cool hangout experience for you guys. I'll figure out like I'll be adding more features and make it more like hopefully more fancy in terms of like the layouts and the setup. And most importantly, I gotta make sure I do this consistently and not fall out like last time. Last time I live streamed on the Instagram and I said I would commit, but I didn't. Pablo DeBarro? Oh, I'm not familiar with his work. He must be like a sculptor. Is lo-fi background music, is that free? You know, that lo-fi girl? 'Cause yeah, I do like the tune. Well, I'm not too sure if I can use that for live stream, and especially if it's going to be recorded as a VOD or VOD. But yeah, if I can use that for free, that would be nice. Yeah. Yeah, let me know if you guys see any issues with the setup. If you have any suggestions, that would be really, really awesome. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm working on these bullets. They're like floating around her. The design motif is like this medieval looking cross. I imagine these girls might be like supernatural hunters, maybe like an exorcist, fighting, demons, devils, apparitions, maybe vampires. Yeah, I'm just focusing on like adding design details. I think that's the fun part. But yeah, I have like 3 other characters designed already. And what I'm gonna do is just work on each stage all at once together. Oh, nice. So it is free. There's no catch or anything, I hope. But yeah, thanks for letting me know. I'll definitely use that because I know that's, very popular and it's, it sounds great to a lot of people. And it's not too distracting and it's, great background music, so. Yeah, also I need to be more active on social media. I realized that I'm not very active. I just post artwork, but I don't really check out other people's work. And I realized that kind of messes up the algorithm. So, yeah. So I will be putting that as part of a, daily to-do list ritual. But yeah, I will try to do this live stream as often as I can. maybe, 3 times a week, and increase that. Anytime I'm just working on my personal work, I can just, hang out and show you guys what I'm doing. So how do I use the brush preset on the Procreate? Using the Apple Pencil, it's mainly designed for the fingers, but I also made this chalk brush that kind of acts like that tapering, gives that tapering effect. It's not really working with the finger, but if you're using the pen, the Apple Pencil, it looks almost exactly like this, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I would use the the chalk brush. Try the chalk brush. It's also great with the finger. I'm gonna draw the Mac pouch underneath her skirt. Probably not too detailed. Yeah, no problem. Why is this so popular? Why is Procreate so popular? I'm not too sure, but my guess is the same reason why I use it. Yeah, I haven't used Photoshop in a few years now. I hardly ever use it. It was a gradual transition for sure. It's very easy and intuitive to use. And it just kept getting better. It's just like any other apps. I only spent like $3 when it just came out. Like I think I'm one of the first users in our community when it just came out a few years ago, and they kept like upgrading it, adding the updates. It kept getting better. Most notably, like warp tools and liquify tool. But yeah, this is my third iPad Pro, and it's a good investment. Like that's a lot of money, but for me, this is everything. Procreate is letting me just do everything on the iPad, and I've done everything: personal work, professional work. Lead characters that I design. A lot of them are done on Procreate. All right, a few more questions. My canvas size, it's quite big, 4288 pixel by 7200 pixel. Yeah, before Procreate, I just used Photoshop mainly. But, eventually I got used to, Procreate after a while. And a lot of artists that I know are getting used to it as well. Yeah, it is pretty big canvas size. Yeah, especially I got this new iPad Pro with higher memory. Yeah, higher memory, like RAM, and also the storage. I think that's letting me have like a higher amount of layers and have a pretty big canvas size. Yeah, before it was like there were a lot of technical restrictions. All right, I'm gonna duplicate this here, magazine. How long does it take you to finish a piece? It varies, but on average, it's been 5 to 7 hours. Sometimes more. It depends if I'm working on a very big piece, like complicated piece, but it's a concept art, and that's just the my personal work without anyone else like giving feedback or uh, giving directions, right? At work it will take a lot longer to finish a piece because I'm getting feedbacks, and things pivot, goals pivot, direction will pivot. Right. I should have looked at some references for the Mac pouch, but yeah, I guess it's good enough. Looks like some candy bar or something. Yeah, maybe I'll redo that later. Yeah, maybe I should redo it now. So, how do you access the chalk brush on your Gumroad packs? Um, might be in the later, like, I update them, so it might be in the latest one. I'm not sure when I updated it. Maybe 2 months ago. What do you recommend for someone who has a full-time job and wants to learn in terms of time to finish? I always start but can never finish. I think finish is relative. Like, it's art is. I mean, there's that saying that art is never done until you walk away. But yeah, I think I know what you mean. For me, it's a good question, but yeah, it really depends. It's very situational. Depends on what your goal is. Like, you can take it all the way to like super high polish. But sometimes, I mean, I used to think that way, but I don't always try to do that anymore. Like, I still appreciate artwork that are, kind of like the Grand Blue Fantasy stuff, or even, near automata style artwork style, right? Those are not super highly rendered. Um, they're still has leans on the line art a lot, and with, like a little bit of color. So I mean, yeah, I think you'll get there, like as long as you're, practicing a lot. And I think maybe a good answer is like, take a look at the artist's work that you admire a lot and you want to achieve that finish level. It takes mileage to get there. Yeah, hopefully that answers the question. But yeah, I know what you mean. Like sometimes it's really hard. Like you have to grind to finish. And sometimes you get bored of the work that you're doing. And yeah, that can be very, very tough. It's very redundant to try to finish an artwork and you don't think it's looking good. And that, you lose even more incentive to finish it. Yeah. Yeah, for me, I think like listening to music or like, yeah, I think music really helps me like get very inspired, like, drown out all those insecure thoughts. I mean, I'm speaking for myself. Like all those thoughts that are saying like, oh, I can't do it, or it's not looking good, not as good as, other people's work or something. Yeah, I'm gonna put some, ammo in here, cartridges in here. But yeah, hopefully that answers the question. Just yeah, it's all about mileage and take a look at the reference. And oh man, I remember like even before joining Riot, I don't think my level of craft was really good. I spent so long just looking at reference images and trying to figure out, oh, how do I make it look like that? And it never looked that good. But now, after like 10 years working at Riot, I'm going through all that, all those experiences and just mileage for drawing for all those years. I think I definitely accumulated more skill set. So, I'm able to like soak in more visual, visual information a lot easier. But yeah, I think everybody will get there. Like it's all about mileage. I still have so much to learn. And I think that's the beauty of being an artist. Once you get over that part about like, oh man, you have to grind so much to get good. Not just art, but that applies to anything, I suppose. But yeah, for art, you have to just sit down at the desk and just look at the canvas for hours and hours and, tap the screen with the stylus, right? And yeah, that can really test your patience. But once you get over that, you get used to it and you don't mind doing that for years and years, you'll get there. Eventually get there. And you'll start to enjoy and appreciate that, yeah. Yeah, that magazine looks interesting. It's not the most realistic or it makes sense, but yeah. I don't know, maybe I should take it out. But I'll just put it in for now. Yeah, sorry, there's more questions I didn't get to. Yeah, quick studies are good. yeah, it's all about like, setting aside a few hours a day or 1 hour at least and just doing any studies. But my recommendation is like focus on, if you're teaching yourself, I think doing master copies is really good. That's from my personal experience. I'm mostly self-taught, and master study is very good. Trying to do one-to-one copy, of course, giving credit to the artist that you master copied off of. All right, which is your favorite Resident Evil game? Oh, that's an awesome question. I mean, recently, 2 Remake is my favorite. Absolutely pleasantly surprised. Um, and yeah, I didn't feel like I had to wait that long for that game. I guess I was occupied with other things that I was doing, but I remember playing the original Resident Evil 2 and was so scared playing that game. I was in my elementary school. And I guess my creativity was more vivid back then. So I would get scared of the concept of zombie and these 2 characters, badass characters, like going around the city, ruined city. That's totally relatable because it looks so familiar. Because it's in this similar time period, right? And technology and all that. But yeah, 2 Remake was so good. And I loved the atmosphere, over the shoulder cam. But to answer your question, my all-time favorite Resident Evil is Resident Evil 4. When I first played it on Wii, that was amazing. I bought it on like all the platforms, like Xbox, PC, PS2 even. I went back and bought it on PS2. I think I got it. Oh no, wait, I bought it on GameCube first, I think. No, oh no, I think it came out on both GameCube and Wii. So I think, yeah. I bought like so many versions of it, and I beat him on all the platforms. Yeah, I never played that much one game on multiple platforms. But yeah, wow. That was such a different take on Resident Evil, and I loved it. It was such a huge departure from all the other Resident Evil games, but it worked. And I think that's when Over the Shoulder Cam was born. Gears of War took that. Uncharted series. And made it to the Resident Evil 2 remake. I think that worked really well. And zombies were terrifying in Resident Evil 2 remake. Like, I knew the villagers in 4 was more scary than just the conventional zombies before. But yeah, I didn't think it would work super well in the Resident Evil 2 remake. And the graphics, the sound, the atmosphere, the effects, your animation, wow, it's terrifying. And Mr. X just chasing you around. The footsteps you hear, the echoes throughout the building, the police department. But yeah, I heard they're making Code Veronica, right? I think. Or possibly Resident Evil 4 remake. Man, that would be amazing. With the new updated graphics. All right, another question. Do you think role specialization is necessary in game dev? Role specialization, you mean like having, I mean the roles are like, you know, there's like a lead role, there's the you know, senior role, the director role. Is that what you're talking about? Or are you talking about like specializing in like characters or environments? Indie versus AAA. So like would I pick indie games or AAA games? Or the games have to be labeled indie or AAA? Yeah, sorry. Just want to make sure I understand it correctly. I mean, the difference between indie and AAA is the biggest difference is I think the budget and the people that are involved and the publisher, you know? So, oops. Yeah, I think that's the main difference. How do you think teams should be organized to make the best games possible? That's a pretty broad question. How do you think the team should be organized? I guess it depends on the game, but it's good to have a clear hierarchy. I think it really depends on the people that are in charge. I mean, for me to give a short answer, I like smaller teams. I think smaller teams and having a lot of outsourcing studios, you know, trying to, you know, work on the vision that you have. So small team creating the vision and direction of the game, I think that's the best way to do it. If you have like, if your team that's, you know, development team is really big, it's very tricky. It's really hard because everybody has their own version of the game in mind, unless there is a very clear hierarchy and, you know, pyramid type of structure. If it's more of a flat structure, like flat studio, and there's a lot of people working on the same game, it's pretty tricky. But I think indie game studios do really well. And I think AAA studios like Naughty Dog, they surprisingly do really well, but sometimes, yeah, they do sacrifice a lot, right? Like, you know, crunching, and it's inevitable. Like, crunching happens no matter what. No matter what you do, no matter how well you're prepared, there's always deadlines and the nature of development. I mean, I've never done AAA games, like working on a couple of years of creating a, you know, AAA game, right? I mean, based on what I've heard, like the documentary I watched on God of War, you know, Cory Barlog, new God of War. You know, it was a development hell. They went through a lot. Everybody put in everything they got. And the way it works, same with Naughty Dogs, like Last of Us 2, is you know, they're working on all their assets. Every team is doing their best, but they don't see what it looks like until like maybe final 20%, final 10% or something. Yeah, that sounds so crazy. Like, that's, at the end, that's when they put the pieces together and that it comes together. And that's when they see the game fully put together. But before that, it looks just unfinished. It's just, um, that seems really difficult. Yeah. Yeah, communication is important. Really, like, alignment is super important. Keeping the team small, having the right, um, people you can trust, making big difficult decisions, having the experts doing their thing, letting them do the thing. Yeah, yeah. Communication is really difficult. Getting all the people aligned on the idea that they're gonna be committing and spending, several, like, couple of years working on. Oh wow, I've streamed for an hour already. Yeah, my pleasure. Um, yeah, happy to kind of revisit those thoughts and share my opinion on it. Yeah, for me, the last 10 years I've just worked on a MOBA game, so that's been a very rare experience, and it kind of I was able to fulfill my dream of designing just only characters, even though I was trained in concept art, both in the environment and characters. But my passion lies in character. So, before MOBA, before League of Legends, it was just like, triple A's, and, you know, um, it's mostly environment artists that they needed. But I lucked out and I got a gig at Riot Games back when they were only like 400 people. Um, so yeah, I feel, yeah, it's definitely a very memorable experience for sure. And my new gig, new team I'm working with, the new game I'm working on, it's not too different than what I did 10 years before that. So I'm also happy to have the opportunity, just keep working, on characters, and working from home comfortably, even though we're in a very unfortunate situation. Um, yeah, it's nice to be able to just be at home. All right, another question. Is that the new iPad Pro 2021? Yes, it is. If it's worth replacing, I did buy the 2020 version prior to this one. The difference is, I think not super substantial enough to warrant the, substitution. It's different enough. I think for me, when I used the iPad Pros prior to this one, like, the Procreate would lag and sometimes crash. And the main biggest complaint I had was the limited amount of layers I could have, and my canvas size wasn't big enough. Like, I couldn't make the canvas size big enough. Otherwise, I would have to sacrifice the number of layers I could have. But this, I think I can, if I compare like same exact canvas size, I'll have like maybe additional, like up to 8 more layers, which is really, I think that's pretty big deal, like 8 or more. But I can definitely make a canvas size big in this version. The key is you have to have a big storage. You have to pick this like a 1 terabyte storage, which is pretty expensive. But I went with it anyways because this is my main tool for doing art. Also, the big difference I noticed is the speed. The loading speed is really fast, and I'm guessing it might get faster because the hardware in this 2021 is the M1 processor chip, or is it M1X or something? I think it's M1. But M1 is very impressive, and I think it's because it's incredibly optimized for the iOS. So for me, because I use it all the time, I think it's worth the upgrade. But if you're doing it just for the personal, sorry, oh, it's low battery. 20% left. Yeah, I'll just keep going until it runs out of battery and it runs out of juice. I'll unlock this. Yeah, I think it's worth it. Oh, whoops. I had it alpha locked. I'm just gonna fill this. Get rid of this. The detail looks pretty cool. Why do you like to draw characters? I grew up like, very, very fascinated with characters. I grew up playing like Final Fantasy 8, 7, 9, StarCraft, Resident Evil series. And I did a lot of fan arts of those. I always liked for the longest time, like just, customizing characters. So when I play like Mass Effect or Dragon Age, Mass Effect is a fantastic game series. I can't play the Legendary Edition right now because I think the idea of it is really great, the HD version of it, but I don't think the graphics and the visual is good enough for me to like want to play again. But back when it came out, I spent hours just making, custom character in the character creation menu. I spent hours and hours just trying to make the most, aspirational character, beautiful character. But I remember, like, as soon as the character shows up in the cutscene, I'm like, oh my god, she looks horrible. And this lighting, this animation. So I would just go back, reset the game, go through the intro. But yeah, I'm really obsessed with that, trying to get that right, trying to make the cool character, and see that character in the game like come alive with voiceover, animation, and just yeah. So that's always been my dream. Like Tetsuya Nomura, like his Final Fantasy, and Yoji Shinkawa's like Metal Gear Solid characters, like those were so. Those cinematic moments were so cool, and that I think ever since I became a gamer and play those games, I wanted to be a character designer. I wanted to do that for a living. And I've always tried to do that, and it was pretty difficult because the friends around me back then, during middle school, high school, they were going through, going through a similar tramline as everyone else, trying to become a doctor or a lawyer, or business person. I was like always figuring out, oh, how do you even become a game developer? It was pretty unknown back then, but now I think it's a lot easier. And you don't really need a degree. I don't have a degree. I don't have a diploma. But it's more about the portfolio. If you have the skills, if you have the knowledge, and the passion to do it, that's really all you need. But yeah, I also appreciate environments, but I'm not as good. I'm not good at it. I think environments are really important. Once you place the characters in the environment, like beautiful environment, that just sets the world. All right, I cleaned it up pretty well. I need to add some more line weight, but I think she's looking pretty cool. Yeah. An interesting maid costume with the jacket. Trying to make sure it's like, kind of weird and interesting, but also aesthetically pleasing. But yeah, feel free to I don't know how this works. I watch a lot of YouTubers, but I've never been a YouTube creator, so YouTube content creator. So I guess like everyone else says, subscribe or like. I don't know if there's a better way to phrase that. Or hit that notification bell so I'm going live. Oops. Gonna invert that. Mask these bullets. Giant bullets. Yes, thank you. Yeah, the silhouette. Yeah, silhouette is really important. Yeah, I like the gun silhouette and also her like skirt. Skirt complementing her, leg pose. Also, I gotta flip the canvas every now and then. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty balanced. Let me liquefy a little bit. But yeah, next time I'll put like a little announcement before I go live. And yeah, I'll definitely put on some music, the lo-fi girl music. So it's not so quiet. Yeah, let me know if there's any technical suggestions you have, that would be really nice. I'm guessing the sound is still good. You can hear my voice pretty well. Is it too loud or too soft? Stream OBS of the concept at the top. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I wonder if I should use OBS. OBS might be a lot better. I have it on my desktop. I don't have it on my Mac here. But yeah, the iPhone would be ideal because I can have it set up like this. But I don't know if you guys find this top display useful or not. I put it there just in case because I zoom in and out a lot because I use my finger to draw. And in order to be precise, I have to zoom in a lot. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if you like it or don't like it, because those are really useful. Yeah, I wish it was bigger as well. Any tips for posture? I mean, that's something I'm trying to work out as well. I do have like a, lower back pain. I have a lumbar disc, and it's sort of coming back, which is, I'm kind of sad about that. But so I need to strengthen my back, do some back exercise. I do have like a lumbar support behind me, on the chair. Sometimes I think the best thing, although it's not as comfortable, the best thing is like sitting on the edge of the seat. So you don't have your back leaned up against the back support of the chair. That will make your back muscles lazy and weakened, and that's what causes the back pain. How long did it take for you to be confident in your designs? Do you ever look back and don't like designs as much and want to change it? Yeah, all the time. I look at, even, sometimes looking at this, I don't know if I 100% like it or not. Yeah, confident with design. I think I'm pretty confident for the most part, but as I'm working on like new thematics, new skin lines, I'm always, I think that's one of the blessings that I had working at Riot on Skins team for 10 years. So I worked on so many different genres and thematics. And it's like a fan art, almost doing a fan art of a well-established character, and I'm like trying to re-visualize, reimagine, redesign the character while maintaining the character's core personalities and like iconic elements. So yeah, after 10 years of doing that, I figured out, I think I've gained a lot of the knowledge and ways to make it work. Like I think it's all about balance, and that's the most tricky part, the subtleties of balance. And I'm pretty confident in doing that now. But how long did it take? Yeah, several years for sure. And I'm still learning as I'm, drawing or personal work or doing stuff at work, constantly learning and observing other people's, character designs. All right, seems like I'm running out of battery. No, yeah. It's been an hour and a half. Oh, actually, like an hour and 20 minutes. Oh, forgot to draw her belly button. It's like right up the top of the belt buckle. Here. Add a little bit of, athletic features here. Faintly. Yeah, of course, anytime. There's folds and wrinkles. Drapery folds. Capturing the personality of the character through pose and other visuals is pretty hard and really important. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm used to just doing very, the concept art kind of pose. Pose that shows all the visual information for the modeler to look at and build the character model. But yeah, I want to do something more illustrative, like, like a splash art type of dynamic pose. Yeah, those are really hard. I often have to look at like references, photo references for that. Or I also use the posable figures. Those are really useful. And sometimes I take snapshots with the posable figure and even paint and draw directly on top. Let me add some bottom eyelashes here. Yeah, usually I'm listening to music that really helps like get me into the groove. Shout out any insecure thoughts and just go with the flow, and time flies by and you get so much done. What are your inspirations lately for your designs? That's a good question. I look at a lot of like Pinterest. Like I have a huge library of Pinterest folder boards. They call it boards instead of folders, but yeah. It's that algorithm. Like so you just open up the Pinterest and the first thing you see are the suggestions put together by the AI algorithm of Pinterest, and I just get sucked in. So that's my inspiration, I would say. But I think when I go through any type of like artist blog, I think what's helpful is like going through my art books that are collecting dusts right now. But when I go through those art books of various artists or from games or movies, for some reason, like looking at those physical books, it sparks even more inspiration and fuel for creativity. Yeah, I just get pumped like looking at those art books and like, oh my god, that looks so cool. Like seeing it on page, like printed out beautifully, versus like looking at it on my small iPhone screen. Inspirations. I think music inspires me a lot. Like same. The reason is like what I said before. It's like it helps me kind of zone out, and not think about the real stuff anymore. Just kind of dream, go into the dream state, I guess. Sorry, I skipped the question. Where can we find out if you plan on going live? You mentioned you're going to post. Yeah, I think there's like a countdown or like some kind of posts that I can make, announcement I can make on the YouTube. So I need to figure that out. At least as a YouTube, person that watches YouTube a lot. Like I've seen YouTubers do that. So I need to figure out how to do that. Yeah, initially I wanted to do Twitch streaming, but it seems so complicated with all those, like the UI you have to set up. So I think YouTube is more ideal for me. So I want to do that and even create some videos to upload, not non-live stream, but like edited videos sometimes. So I want to build a community there to help like share more of my stuff and help people out. But yeah, I'll make posts on my social media as well, like maybe the Instagram stories, so people are aware that I will be going live. And also I will be on the Lightbox Expo this year, and I've already told them I want to do the YouTube live stream. So I think that one's gonna be pretty big because they will be helping with letting people know what to check out and what to expect, and there will be a lot of people there just checking out a lot of other artists' streams and shows. All right. What's a good tip, advice for... Sorry, it keeps disappearing. What's a good tip and advice for getting better at character design and fashion design? Oh, hey, Shaban. Hey, good to see you. Wow. Good an advice for doing good character design, I would say it's very subjective. So, I mean, feel free to, develop your own, view on it. But for me, I think working at Riot for that long, like when I joined Riot, I had no idea what League of Legends was. I didn't have any clue. Like I didn't have that much experience designing characters for games. So what I did was I just rendered the heck out of everything. I just tried to make it as finished and render to photographic like level of polish, almost as if like I looked at a lot of like 3D renders as reference to try to render it, which was just unrealistic. And but throughout the decade of working there, I realized it was all about like the goals, the goal, like the team set, and even for personal work, I think it's good to have that kind of goal. But I know sometimes people like to just draw like random stuff, and those are really fun. But I think most importantly, if it's going to be a well-established character, I think it's important to set some sort of like product goal or know what the character is. Yeah, preparation is really important as well. So like setting up reference board, mood boards, art style guide for that character. The more you know, I think the better you can design that character. Also know the property really well. So like once I figured out what League of Legends was and what's important for League of Legends, which was, it needs to look very stylized. And also, the shapes have to be exaggerated, simplified, and ultimately have really good flow to the design. What I value the most, like working on like skin lines, is that it's important to establish design language. So I think Star Guardian is a very good example. So when I worked on Star Guardian Lux, I simplified a lot, and I kept a lot of elements that speak that magical girl thematic. So the bow and the star emblem, the 5-pointed star emblem, and once we decided to make a team of the characters, Lux's team, we used a lot of those elements, 5-pointed stars, but having those like iconic elements is really important, and that's kind of the pattern that I saw when I developed like various skin lines, variety of skin lines, KDA as well. Yeah, it got trickier for sure because there were so many skins and so many characters, and it got to the point where I know I'm going off a little bit off tangent, but yeah, it got to the point where like when we were trying to come up with new skins for this character, it would fit super well, but oh man, it's gonna overlap with this skin line, this other skin line. There were a lot of limitations, but yeah, shape language is very important. Theme, having the goals, and preparation. You know, when I prepare, when I do mood boards, I try not to overcomplicate things. Like I don't, like I get very drawn to a lot of great reference images, but you know what I realize is like when you put together a reference board, it's important to simplify it, like Mary Kondo it. Um, if it if there's a overlapping like similar reference, like throw that away, pick the best one, and simplify it down to just few references representing the goals, the artistic goals. But yeah, um, yeah. Hopefully those are helpful. Like feel free to, um, yeah, yeah. Like I said, everybody's different. Everybody has a different philosophies in terms of creating characters. But yeah, thanks for being here. It's good to see you on here. It's definitely like uh, unannounced live stream, so I definitely did not prepare for this, but it's good to see you here. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Ooh, I'm running out of battery, 10%. 10% left. All right, I got 10% left, so I may be piecing out soon. Yeah, the Star Guardians have same thing, but a little bit different. So, you know, the Ari's team, which is like they're more mature and they're like more experienced team. Yeah, I decided to give him like a 4-pointed star, like sort of like a cross or plus sign shape. But Soraka, even though she was not the legendary, I think people thought she was legendary because I think she looked really good, and she had wings. She had like the 8-pointed star, I think. It's like more radiant type of star shape. And I gave, you know, Syndra, like she's more of a sinister, so that's why she's got a lot more of a darker tone to her design, like darker colors, and also her star shape is more of a, you know, this type of star shape instead of each point being more friendly shape, more pinched in, I would say, like pinched in, more sharper. So that was really fun, like trying to differentiate the two teams and with, you know, differentiating each member based on their story, their core champion personality, and also the skin story, the skin line story. But yeah, after that, I was now involved in the ones that came out after. But I think those look really good too. I mean, I worked on Zoe's initially and also made her a little bit darker and had fun playing with the iconic motif of making the star quite different. Yeah. Yeah, KDA was pretty much about like my the way I imagined was like the gold would even have like prismatic quality to them, almost as if they're on stage, and you know, there's like all these different colored stage lights, like reflecting off of their gold all the time, and also their clothing material has that like holographic, you know, shine to them. I think that's in like a lot of skins now. Like, I guess people just generally like that look, the prismatic holographic look. All right, I'll take a few questions and maybe call it because unfortunately, my iPhone ran out of battery really quick. My microphone is attached to where I put the, where I put the charging cable, but I gotta figure out how to plug both. Zero, you can talk to us about the experience creating the design of Gwen. Yeah, sure. So Gwen was the last champion I worked on. So when I joined Riot like 10 years ago, for a whole year, I worked on champions. It was a very different world back then, different type of development world back then at Riot. Champion team was really small. Skins team was tiny as well. It was me. I was a champion concept artist with 3 other champion concept artists, and we were working on one champion every 2 weeks. It was very high cadence. It was really fun because there were a bunch of ideas of champions on the board. So like, I think Shredder was Zed, the Ninja Shredder. There was a plant lady who became Zyra. There was a spider queen that became Elise. There were a bunch of ideas, and when I'm done with one champion, I would just go up to the board and go, "Oh, this one looks interesting." It was so, very casual. That was great. Yeah, Apollo was Jace. We called him Apollo. Vi was like Jace's biggest fan. She had like skate shoes. She had like an Iron Man suit sort of initially. But anyways, after like 6 months, first 6 months we're working at Riot and working on like 9 different champs. I joined Skins, and that's where I just stuck with the Skins team for all those years. And the final year I worked at Riot last year, that's when I switched over to champion team. And prior to that, I was working on the Wild Rift, working on new skin lines for them. And I guess at the end, like I was like, oh, I want to work on champs again. I really miss creating and adding to, keep refining the brand or redefining the brand by creating new champions. I worked on the champion Gwen, and it was really fun. Like, maybe I should pull up the art station, but yeah, it's a pretty long story. Yeah, I was working on like some kind of monk melee girl initially, but I decided to do a big shotgun blast of different ideas, and there were all kinds of different champion ideas, and they're tiny thumbnails, very small, quickly drawn. And at some point there was like there were so many ideas. I don't know if I can say them all. I don't think I'm allowed to. But there are a couple champions that I wish I also made. But one of them, it was big scissors, like a girl with like dark feathers, with a gigantic gothic looking scissors. And I think when I presented to the stakeholders, there were art directors there, producers, lead artists, and I think they were instantly drawn to that, the character with scissors. And she was not the doll and Lolita type of girl. She had like like this ominous look, like dark feathers and stuff, and older. But yeah, that's for some reason I think the scissors was missing. Like that's type of trope that's very popular, but did not exist in League of Legends. And it's like an everyday object that we all know, we're all familiar with, and just sizing that up to life size. I think that's just that kind of fantasy is really like well understood, and that's why there's a lot of characters like that, and a lot of collectible games, and you know, yeah, maybe MMORPG as well. But yeah, the production was pretty smooth, like surprisingly. It was a long production, but I worked with the producer Ryan Morales. He's really good. He he knows what's trendy, and he's really into a lot of like trendy games. And he's also an anime weeb, also into a lot of K-pop. So we talked a lot about that. So I think we instantly jived. Like we had this connection versus other producers who would not be as familiar with those kind of stuff. But yeah, he was really, a lot of decisions he make, or comments that I make, like we agreed instantly. So yeah, this character became part of this big campaign. That sounded really exciting, and very ambitious. But yeah, like Michael Luo was the narrative designer, and he's incredibly talented as well. He came up with all these like beautiful concepts for the narrative for Gwen. You know, being the fragment of Isolde, I think that's very poetic and beautiful. And I think the difficult part was like, whether to make her like a doll that looks obviously like a doll, or make her more like a doll that comes to life like a Pinocchio. At the end, like I think Ryan and I and the lead artist, we and the art director, we all knew like at the end we need to make the character aspirational and not creepy. And there's ways to like balance that really well. But we leaned into making the doll come to life as a fragment of this queen. So yeah, I think it all came really well together. There were some challenges, but yeah, I had tremendous amount of fun working on her. And then before I decided to leave, so yeah, sorry, it takes quite a bit of concentration to try to go back and share that story. But anyways, I think I'm running out of losing all the power, all the iPhone battery power. But yeah, thank you. Thanks for all those questions, and thanks for hanging out. I'll try to have it a little bit more set up, and yeah, thanks for all the suggestions and help as well. And yeah, I can't wait to hang out with you guys again. Again, it'll be very casual. I'll try to have an announcement and give you guys heads up. I'll play some lo-fi beats in the background, and yeah, see how I can develop this character further. All right. So yeah, take care, everybody. Thank you.